hands, one heart. I just remind everybody in the room, please silence your cell phones. And if you have a question in here, raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. If you're on Zoom and have a question, please use the raised hand function. Our student athletes here today from NC State, Zoe Brooks, Madison Hayes. Fire away from in the room if you're ready to start this press conference. Who has the first question? Over here to the left, Noah.
What did you guys learn from yesterday's game? Just kind of moving into tomorrow, just trying to, maybe avoid a slow start or something like that.
No matter who the team is, they're going to obviously come out and play their best basketball. Vermont played very well. They shot very well, as you guys could see yesterday. They hung around in the game till about 3 minutes left of the fourth quarter, which was pretty impressive. So just not taking anybody for granted.
Madison?
I mean, that's pretty much it. We can't come out lackadaisical. We have to make sure we come out and, give the first punch, and they did last night. And we just got to make sure we come out ready to play. Every team in this tournament is going to be a good team, no matter what conference they come from. So,
next question over here to the right, Ernie.
This is for both players. Zoe, and to possibly go to a Sweet 16 for the first 2 years of your career, what does that mean to you? And Madison, this will be your third possible trip to the Sweet 16 as a player in your career. What does that say about, your growth in this program overall?
Zoe, we'll start with you.
It's something I never really could have imagined. Last year going to a Final Four as a freshman was something that pretty much everybody dreams of. And then this year possibly going to the Sweet 16 again. It's just crazy, and I feel like we worked so hard to get here, and we deserve it more than anybody else.
Maddie?
I would just say that, obviously being a part of, the first Sweet 16 team and going to the Elite Eight, it was amazing. And, learning from, KJ, Elisa, Raina, and Kai, the super seniors that year, just learning from them. Even though I didn't play that much, I still learned a lot from them and how the program is and the culture, and it was so different. But it made me not even just a better basketball player, but a better person as well. And then, obviously, going to the Final Four last year with a different group, but we had that same chemistry, that same feel that we had when I first, got here. But now, still having that same chemistry, we still have the potential to go to the Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, all that.
Next question right here, Daniel.
This question's for Madison. The word that many people within this team like to use to describe you is the glue. Mm-hmm. Someone that can fill, any hole that is needed or rise to any challenge that the team needs. Mm-hmm. Do you kind of pride yourself on that sort of flexibility in your game?
I mean, yeah, it's good to be, versatile. I can guard 1 through 4. I mean, I could play 1 through 4, 1 through 5 even. But, just accepting, the position that's best for the team. Coach Moore put me to the side, asked me to play the 4. And, obviously when you've been playing a position so long, you want to stay in the position that you're comfortable with. And obviously going into playing the 4 and, taking that challenge that, girls are going to be bigger, but am I just going to lay down and just be like, I can't, bang with them, or I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do for my team. And, I feel like I've done a pretty good job in guarding, their 4 players, even though I'm undersized, but I'm going to continue to do that for my team and help us win.
Next question over here to the right, Bob.
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press. Madison, Sanaya has mentioned this the last couple of days about how important it is for her to go out the right way in this building. And now that moment is about to hit us here, what does that mean for you?
It means a lot. I've been here, I didn't come here my freshman year, but coming here for the last 4 years, making an impact on the seasons and stuff. I try not to think about it too much, like this is my last time being in here. But, just worry more about the game. And then after we can have, the emotional piece and but I mean, I'm just here to win basketball games and, move on to the next round. But, obviously it can get really emotional for me. Obviously with the friendships that I've made here and the relationships that I've built, especially with the younger players, this is their last time being with us, not even our last time being with them, so.
Question on the front row here. Tom?
This is kind of a two-pronged question. Can you girls talk about the home court winning streak, the crowd support you get, and then also there's a lot of history in this arena. A lot of it predates you guys by a lot of years, even K-Yao. How much have you learned to appreciate the history in your time here, the statues outside? So kind of a two-pronged question.
Okay.
Madison, we'll start with you.
Okay.
And then we'll get Zoe.
Okay.
We'll get her.
I just didn't want to feel like I was taking over the
Oh,
thing.
no.
Okay.
It's your moment.
So the first question, I would say that, obviously this home floor, this arena, the crowd, I mean, it's a big factor for us, playing at home. Obviously you can see that we've won how many games straight? 23?
20?
20?
What is it?
22? That's not a lot of teams can say they won 22 straight at home, and it's hard to do, and it's not something that's really easy because we're in a great conference, and now coming into the NCAA tournament, but it's just the culture that we built through this team and like the relationships, not even that we built as a team, but with the fans as well. They love us, they support us through, the hard times and the losses, but they always come and show out, and that's why I feel like, they're the best fans in the nation. So,
Zoe?
Like Maddie said, we have a great fan base. I feel like we have the best fan base in the country, and that definitely helps how we play. We win a lot here. It's important for us to keep the crowd entertained so that they keep coming back and selling out the arena. But we want to win every game no matter where it is. But I definitely think the fans play a big part in our wins.
What about the arena's history and learning about K-Yao?
I mean, Coach Moore emphasizes it a lot. I didn't really know much about it until I got here, and like the importance and like obviously having like the K-Yao Servant Leader Award, and just talking to K-Yao's sister a lot when she comes to games, and just having that that I kind of represent like the character that she kind of instilled into her players, and just that's a real honor, and just trying to keep that legacy going, not only with just K-Yao but now with Coach Moore's legacy here as well.
I have a question for both of you. Michigan State relishes playing a physical game. What did you learn playing in the Duke game in the regular season and the ACC that may help you accept some of that physicality when they're trying to defend you?
You want me to answer first?
Yeah,
Okay.
you go first, Maddie.
Okay.
Sorry.
Obviously with the Duke game, I mean, it was hard to rewatch. I watched the whole game after a couple days. And I think just for us, we can't, like I said, let them punch us in the mouth first. We got to be able to give that first punch and keep that going throughout the whole game. We can't just, do it for a quarter or like 2 quarters or even 3, because, fourth quarter is when usually everybody's trying to kick it into gear. But we have to have that the whole 4 quarters and be ready to play. And the physicality is going to come. So, fouls are not going to always be called, and we can't worry about that as much. We got to worry about our game and making shots, not looking for fouls. That's one of the biggest emphasis that I would say for us as a team. We got to keep building on, because that's something that we did in the Duke game a lot, was looking for fouls, and that kind of hurt us a little bit, just throwing up shots. But I think we're getting better, and that's what we have to instill in tomorrow's game.
Zoe?
Duke is a great defensive team. They definitely got after us both times we played them, not only, in the tournament, but when they came here, even though we came out with the win, they definitely were very physical. They got after us. They pressured us, forced a lot of turnovers. So I think that they definitely helped us become stronger. And, we have to understand that we're not always going to get the foul calls that we need, but just play through it.
More questions in here? I do have one more for you, Maddie. Specifically, you talked about having to play in the post.
Yeah.
Sometimes undersized, but there's a mentality that you have to have as well. What is that dog mentality in you that allows you to compete against young ladies that are a little taller, maybe a little more physical than you are?
I mean, just like you said, having that dog mentality, like you're not going to bully me the whole game, and I'm just that type of player, like I'm going to make you work for whatever you're going to get. And if you want to keep coming in here, then I'm going to show you why you don't want to keep coming in here. And that's just, I mean, I just, I take that challenge personally, because now, like, teams are going to pick on me because I'm smaller, and that's fine. And, that's what they're supposed to do. But I just continuously, time and time again, show them why, you're not just going to keep, you're going to get a couple buckets here and there, but you're not going to get it all day. So I'm going to just give them what they're asking for, and hopefully they'll make a change, and I'm sure they'll make a change. And I'm very confident in myself. My team's confident in me to do my job. So, and the coaches as well. So I'm gonna keep doing that.
Zoe,
Zoe, you did not do that. Sorry, you did not do that. Sorry.
I was going to ask you, Zoe, does some of that mentality seep over to the guards? But I guess you've answered the question.
Absolutely.
One more question over here, Ernie.
When do you feel like in the game that you feel like you have to take over the game in a way? When is it in your mindset? Is it a start? Do you feel like, hey, if Zaya's not going, I got to go? Or if Sanaya's not, going, I got to go? Or is it a feel, or in your mind, and when you start the game, you say, hey, I'm going from whatever it is, it is?
No, I'm on go from the beginning. It doesn't matter whose day it is. I'm just here to do everything I can to help the team win, whether that's facilitate, score, defend. I'm just trying to do everything I can. But definitely from the start of the game, I'm on go until the end.
Straight dog.
I have one more final question. I noticed a couple of times when things were tight, particularly in the second quarter, you guys were down. There was the huddle on the normal huddle, but then when you come back on the court, there's the players' huddle of just the 5 that are playing in that game. What are you trying to communicate there, and what are you trying to accomplish in a second huddle before you start playing again? Madison, we'll start with you.
Just making sure, like, snapping back into reality. Vermont went on a huge run, and just not letting that moment, those runs, dictate how we play, and just making sure we go out there and ready to play. They're going to want to keep pushing. They're going to want to keep shooting the ball. We just have to stay through our game and don't let them, make us do things that we don't want to do. Just emphasizing that and making sure we're doing better on defense, because defense is what we were lacking in rebounding in the first half. And we ended up coming out really well in the coming into halftime. So, I think just instilling that and just making sure, as leaders, we try to make sure that everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, and our players, we always make sure that we emphasize to stick together, whether we're losing or we're winning. If we're winning, not to let loose, because any team can come back. And if we're down, to stay together and keep fighting and playing hard.
Well, that's all we need, ladies. Great job. And Zoe, nice dog bark, by the way. Zoe and Madison, thank you.
Some of y'all just spend the night here or what?
That's right. It's cheaper than a hotel. They couldn't find a hotel.
That's for sure.
All right, we got Coach Wes Moore here for about 15 minutes or until you run out of questions, whichever comes first. So who wants to start out the press conference with Coach Moore? Over here to the left.
How much of the Michigan State-Harvard game did you use to scout versus what you used from previous Spartans games, films, prior to the tournament, and what stands out on with them on film?
Yeah, again, we had a couple of scouts put together of, probably 3 or 4 games each or something like that. And then watched the game yesterday. I'll be honest, I watched it in my office, for the most part, just watched it on TV. And we had coaches down there trying to pick up any calls or anything maybe that you can catch when you're there live. But, yeah, I mean, what is it? Football coach said they are who we thought they are. I mean, again, the press is something you got to worry about. They do a great job applying pressure. They balanced. Got so many, several people out there that can take over a game. And, Van Sluten, somebody that we recruited out of high school. And so she actually visited here some unofficially, but so very familiar with her. And, again, well coached, play really hard. And, again, you got to take care of the ball. They force turnovers. That's going to turn into offense for them. They're either going to get a layup or open 3. And so we're going to have to be, really smart and with our decision making and take care of the ball.
Next question. To the right.
Ernie Myers, Wolfpack Sports Radio. Coach, what team does this? You play in the ACC. They have 12 teams, and in the big from the Big Ten in the tournament. What team in the ACC do they remind you of? I asked the same coach that question when she was here.
Great, Ernie. Yeah, thanks, Ernie. Wait. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really sat down and thought about that, so you caught me off guard on that. Again, they just, there's not a ton of teams out there that press consistently like they do. So I don't know that I would draw a comparison really. Again, like I said, we're worried about that, worried about their post play. I mean, both their posts are averaging, 15, 16 points a game. And so with us being young inside, that's going to be a concern. I know Van Sluten yesterday drew 10 fouls. And so, they go inside to her, and she's really good at getting you to leave your feet and drawing contact. And then I thought, and I could butcher the names here, Halleck. Obviously she didn't have her better game yesterday, but we obviously seen a lot of film, so we know what she's capable of. Really quick and explosive off the bounce, can shoot the 3. So, but I don't know that I can really compare them to anybody. You got me on that one.
Over here to the left, Noah.
Yeah, what were you able to learn from yesterday's game, kind of moving into tomorrow?
Yeah, again, we've prepared for them, watched film on them before. So, what we've done the last couple of years is, since we have a little more time between our tournaments, once we find out who we're playing on that Sunday evening, we spend Monday and Tuesday preparing for possible opponents in the second game, and then we had a day off, and then we spent Thursday, Friday focusing on Vermont. So we had a little jump start on them. And like I said, they're what we've seen on film. I mean, they're super talented, play really hard, well coached. They press you, offensively. They're aggressive. They're getting post touches. They're getting you off the bounce. So really, again, those things that we had seen on film were pretty true yesterday as well. I don't think there was a whole lot of new things, but seeing it in person's always good too, though.
To the right here.
Hey, Coach. Tom Shanahan from Spartan Mag. Robin Frelick mentioned that, I don't know if you're aware of this, she mentioned that she played at Davidson when
Yeah.
you were coaching
Oh,
at
yeah.
Chattanooga.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember her.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and she said you were a good coach then and now.
Well, yeah, Robin. Yeah, I remember Robin well. To be honest, it kind of slipped my mind. But then when I thought about it, yeah, because obviously her last name's changed. But, yeah, very smart player. And, Davidson had some really good teams back in that period. And, but, yeah, that's pretty. For a minute, I thought, wow, she really moved up the ladder quick. But then after looking at it, 2004, okay, maybe it has been 20 years, So you kind of lose track there for a minute. But, yeah, it's a great accomplishment for her to be at, a Power 4 school like Michigan State. And she's done a heck of a job with it. And then one of her assistants, Dean Lockwood, was at Tennessee with Pat Summitt for a long time. And with my, ties with her and with Chattanooga and Knoxville, all that, very familiar with Dean as well. So, they've done a heck of a job.
Another question for Coach? She did quickly point out, by the way, that they didn't win many games, Davidson against Chattanooga.
Yeah, well, it's a new era. We'll see.
You've mentioned the physicality that Michigan State likes to play with. Obviously, post players love that, but even their guards like to be physical. How do you allow your team or tell your team not to let that get to them, because not all fouls are going to be called?
Yeah, again, like I said, they're going to apply a lot of pressure, whether it's full court or half court. In the half court, they deny passes. They're going to pressure the ball, and they do a great job of rotating and helping each other. But you're right. You got to keep your composure and not let it get to you. And I think the best way, to be honest, to handle pressure is to attack it. You can't shy away from it. The same way with the press. You can't be satisfied with just getting the ball across half court. You got to try to score and make them pay for pressing. And in the half court, when they get up in you and applying that pressure, you got to take them, try to take them off the bounce and put the pressure back on them. So hopefully we can handle that. But again, they're turning people over at a great rate, and that's what they do really well.
Back here to the left.
Going off their pressure, how much you're able to draw from, playing Duke and the way that they play defense and use that as a learning tool kind of going into this game?
Yeah, Duke's another team that, especially in the half court, they apply great pressure, and, they also are great on the boards. And so, you could draw some comparison there between those two. And again, Duke, a lot of times with their press, they're more true man-to-man. This press that Michigan State runs, run and jump, I mean, they're flying around, they're doubling the ball, and then they're rotating up. So if somebody goes and traps, somebody else is rotating up, looking to make us play on the ball. So I just think, again, the way they do it's a little different from a press perspective, but in the half court, very similar.
Back over here to Ernie.
Ernie,
He'll ask a better
I
question.
hope this is better, Ernie.
He won't
Okay.
stump you this
Put a lot
time,
of
Coach.
pressure on me, Coach.
Hope this is better.
The time of the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a noon game. People are working, students are. Do you feel it has some type of lacking in the home court advantage because of the crowd and the people and the parking and here? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, again, it's all how you look at it. Tried to explain to our team today, hey, first semester we practice in the morning. So let's spin it that way. You're getting, we're starting 3 hours later than we normally start practice in first semester. It's a little frustrating because I know there'll be some people that are having to work and it makes it hard for them to be here. I know I've ran into that in my situation. But a little bit, there's nothing we can do about it. So, just gotta, thankful to be at home and, hey, let's wake up in the morning and, let's get ready to play and, don't have to wait around all day. So that's good. Let's get after it. So.
Because I was in church and people were coming, hey, why is the game for?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to do with that. So it's all based on TV and, I guess maybe I'm not sexy enough, so they didn't want me in prime time, you know?
But you're on ESPN.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Coach, you got 2 players that'll be manning the post that you probably had to have a conversation with this year that they're probably not playing their natural position. Even Madison talked a little bit about that earlier. You've got her playing the 4. She'd probably prefer to play the 3. You've got Trieger playing the 5. She would probably prefer 4 or 3. What were those conversations like to get them to accept those positions?
My goodness. We need to get some new local talent in here. My gosh, I hope you don't talk to them. You know, we play 4 guards. You know, Madison's not a four player. She's a guard. We play 4 guards. You choose whether you want to play 4 guards or if you want to play 3 guards and 2 posts. We're playing 4 guards, and that does mean sometimes she gets taken inside and they try to post her up. But, you know, Madison's, you know, she's a pretty physical girl and can handle that. As far as Tilda goes, you know, there's not a whole lot of 6'6" kids just laying around, you know. And so when you can get one, and in our situation, we had a need. So, you know, it's called team, Jeff. It's called a team. You do what's best for the team. But again, we still look for Tilda. She still has opportunities to shoot the 3 and keep her happy. And Madison definitely can shoot the 3. So I don't know. We've had in-depth conversations about it. But again, if I'm a player, I want to get on the court. So if that's the quickest way for me to get on the court, hey, Coach, I'll do it. So let's leave it at that, Jeff.
You got it, Coach. Can somebody bail me out, please? Over
Man,
here. To the
you
left.
two. Why don't y'all just talk to me outside the room sometime? Okay?
Well, to sort of speak to that need, obviously, with Caitlin and Lizzie being stricken with injury, Tilda and Lorena have had to step up as freshmen. How have they sort of embraced that role early on in their collegiate careers?
Yeah, you know, again, I think Tilda's grown to, you know, accept it a little bit and sometimes even maybe savor it a little bit. I think she's doing fine down there. And I think both of them, you know, they're freshmen, so it's not ideal. I mean, I like veterans, but I also don't look at your driver's license. I'm going to base it on talent. And, you know, they were our best options, and I think they both have grown a lot. I owe that to my assistant coaches, Nikki West, Kevin Leatherwood, Kayla Jones, our GA. They work with our interior players, and I think they've done a heck of a job bringing them along, and they've grown up in a hurry. So, you know, I'm feel blessed to have them. Don't know where we'd be without them right now. So, but again, they're going, you know, Van Sluten's a a junior, and then the other one's Arnault.
A-Rock.
Yeah, something. Yeah, number 40. You know, she's a grad student, so they're going against veterans, and so they'll have to, you know, try to play smart.
Any more questions for Coach? All right. You're out of here early. Thank you, Coach Moore.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
That was a blast.
We can tell.
Yeah.